Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Alessia Citro, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I am passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you were meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We are here for part 2 of my interview with my friend Alessia Citro. And just as a quick reminder, a quick little refresher, that she is the creator of the Higher Self Habits method. We have been having such a great conversation about habits and implementing habits and how we structure our day and our growth, high achieving females. So I am so excited to continue the conversation. We'll chat more about her book, Higher Self Habits, the scientific, strategic, and spiritual formula to get out of your own way for good. And maybe even tap into book number 2 that is in her very near future. So let's buckle up and get ready to continue the conversation right here, right now for part 2. I love this menu idea. I'm like hungry and I want a snack, but I also want to revamp my morning routine with this menu. And
doesn't that feel more liberating too?
Yeah. And I so support what you're saying. I think probably especially as women, especially as high achieving women, we can be very hard on ourselves when something doesn't stick. And I think that's a really powerful reminder when it comes to habits is it's not going to happen in 3 days. You do need to give yourself some time. And I know Atomic Habits from James Clear was an excellent book for this that I think resonated for a lot of people. Approaching tiny habits that maybe, and I actually think this worked for my husband, that I really wanted him to start having a room temperature Himalayan salt lemon water every morning. And so we do that before we have coffee and, come downstairs, take care of the dogs, have our lemon water. I like to have another refreshing glass of water just to kind of cleanse my palate. Then we'll welcome the coffee. And it sort of, 3 days turned into 7, into 14. And then here we are years later, and it is a habit that has successfully stuck.
Yeah.
But it took time.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good foundational habit where, here's the other thing too. I feel like you need to be able to see and feel a result of something to want to keep doing it. Because if it doesn't make you feel good, either mentally or emotionally or physically, you're probably going to get bored with it. So having a really good foundational habit like that, where I'm assuming you can probably feel the hydration and how much better you feel than you would have if you didn't, that has also enabled you to stick with it. Would you agree with that?
Totally. And I mean, even when we travel, sometimes we will not wake up with fresh lemons in our room. So we are, give ourselves grace with that. But enter Glossy, and it's a light lemon flavor. So that's actually been an amazing habit, either replacement in terms of the lemon water, but also here on a daily basis. In addition, having something that even just mentally allows us to maintain the habit when we are out of our, daily habit structure and on the road traveling, because you want to enjoy that joyful moment of being wherever you are, but also having something that is grounding and it starts your day and sets the tone for the day. You make your bed, you have your lemon water. I love a coffee. A double espresso for me is an amazing pre-workout. I don't like having anything artificial. So a black coffee or a double espresso, great for me. And that will give me the energy boost to have a morning workout. Yeah. And again, kind of talking about those foundational habits. We have this conversation all the time in the gym, especially with personal training clients, that some will come in and they are looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger or Michelle Obama arms within 12 sessions. I love the eagerness, but there's a lot of things kind of going back to the pyramid. What are you eating? How are you sleeping? Are you drinking water? What is your stress levels like? Maybe your body's inflamed because you are operating at a constantly stressed state. Yeah. So the 2 hours, if you train with a personal trainer one-on-one 2 times a week, that is only 2 hours in a week 1 hour a day with 23 other hours to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're going to do from a habit standpoint. But then you look at that in a week, this poor trainer, like you can't expect them to work magic and have these amazing sculpted arms and abs and a lifted ass and all these things. It's going back to even something like habits of what are you doing outside of the gym?
Yes. And if you can't, I mean, people know what they need to do
Mm-hmm.
generally. But
You just need to
then,
do it.
right. And so then if you can't, there's a magic question that I ask. WTF? No, not that one,
Like,
but it will
yeah.
get you to remember it. Maybe you asked that too. No, where is the friction?
Ooh.
What is making this hard to do? Let's use drinking water as an example because this is easy to illustrate and you can apply this to anything. Okay. Perhaps you're not drinking enough water because you're relying on a glass. Okay. Well, why does that matter? I have to get up and refill the glass a lot of times versus getting an emotional support water bottle, this basic Girl Stanley 40-ounce water bottle that everyone carries around. I don't have to get up that much. This has 5 glasses of water in it. And
Mm.
and yeah, I'm a high achiever. I'm also lazy. All humans are inherently lazy. We want to do as little work as possible. Our brains and bodies love to conserve energy. So I conserve energy by getting a big ass water bottle. So that's one way you can make it easier, remove the friction. Another one is what if you have a water bottle that you have to screw the lid on and off? Again, I know that's not a lot of friction, but it takes very little. Get a straw. A straw will make it easier for you to drink water.
Yep.
What if you don't like the taste of water? That's the friction. Well, if you're apparently not in Canada, which I just learned this on our last episode, you could order Glow See.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in Canada, you got to get more creative. But could you add like an electrolyte powder with a great flavor to it? Could you do something to make it a little more exciting? If you don't like room temp, could you add ice? You get where I'm going with this. But you have to dissect all the aspects that go into whatever it is that's hard to do, hard. And then from there, troubleshoot them and make them easier. And you can apply this to anything: getting enough protein, getting enough sleep, why you're not going to the gym when you say you want to go, why you're not writing the sales copy when you say you want to write it, and on and on and on and on. It all comes down to where is the friction.
Oh, I love that. And one of the things that I know we've sort of been chatting in and out about is with a like morning routine menu and something like water, lemon water. I would actually love to know, like, what is your morning routine?
It varies.
Ah, you have a menu.
I do. Yeah. And you know what? Okay. So many of my clients are moms. And so I give them this piece of advice. So just take everything I'm about to say with this grain of salt. There are some days when your morning routine is drinking your cup of coffee while it's hot in silence. That might
Mm.
be your filling the cup, right? Literally and figuratively. Okay, so some of mine, actually, one habit that I have fallen out of recently that I'll just admit here and now, I have not been making my bed regularly.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to get back into that. What makes it hard to do is my 5-year-old sleeps in our bed and she wakes up later, and then I'm like out of the room and like I don't
Mm.
do anything in there but sleep. So anyway, so what's making it hard to do? Mila's in there, so I need to go and round the corner and make the bed because it
Mila has to
closes the
vacate the
loop on
scene.
sleep. Oh God, dude, I'm trying. She's such a good cuddler though. So yeah, so that's something that I'll work on. But things I do day in and day out without fail. I drink a huge glass of water first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
I always do some level of a gratitude practice.
Mm.
Like, what am I grateful for today? How do I want today to go? Lately, something I've been picking off the menu often is journaling. Maybe, I mean, I love writing anyway, obviously, if I wrote a book,
Yeah.
but that just helps me really clear my mind. And the other thing I've actually been doing quite often, I've been doing either breath work or a guided meditation. But here's the thing that made it easier for me to do it. I bought one of those sleep masks that has headphones in it.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
Such a good buy off Amazon. Cheap too. So you put this eye mask on. It's like really comfortable, really nice fabric. You pick out whatever breath work, meditation you want to do, put it on, zone out. It's like I can't see anything. I'm like, I'm in it. So those have been ones that I've been really, really enjoying lately.
I love all of that. And what time do you wake up? What's your like ideal rise time?
Right now, even though it's getting light so late, I've been
Mm.
waking up anywhere between like 5:30. That's been the sweet spot. Because then I just feel
Ooh,
like I have a spacious morning. If
yeah.
I wake up after 6, I feel like I'm in a hurry and my whole day just doesn't not go as well.
Well, and good for you for kind of recognizing that of, you want to have some space in your morning for you for a mindful morning routine. So that means that you're going to get up earlier. And I think that's even like a little reminder for people if they want to do something like that. Would you agree that they should start small? Like if you currently wake up
Yes.
at 7:30, you're not going to start waking up at 5.
Oh no, 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 no. You gotta like back that up with baby steps. And also the biggest thing you can do if you know you need to wake up earlier, you probably need to go to bed earlier. And
Mm-hmm.
like what is causing you to stay up later than you want to stay up late, and then troubleshooting from there. Good mornings begin with a good evening before.
Mm. Okay, now tell me
Yeah.
about your nighttime routine.
Okay. I have a couple. One, I'm always drinking water before I go to bed, which maybe sounds not that smart because then you have to get up and pee. Luckily, that doesn't happen to me. I think I have like a truck driver bladder.
Yeah.
So good genetics. That's one of them because I don't know. That way I feel like I sleep better because if you're dehydrated, it's going to wake you up.
Hmm.
The other thing that I am like absolutely psychotic about is I run the dishwasher before we go to bed so that I can empty it first thing in the morning.
Okay. Love
If you
that.
walk into a kitchen that is in disarray, your day is not going to go as well as it could have. Prove me wrong.
Totally. I support that.
um, let's see. I'm usually reading on my Kindle too before bed. That really helps me wind down. And I feel like I don't get the blue light, like, you know, being stuck awake all night because of that. I feel like it doesn't have blue light like a phone does. So that's
And
my
what
other like go
what are
to.
you currently reading?
I am finishing up The Light Work by Jessica
Wow.
Zweig. I hope I said her last name right. Yeah, I'm enjoying
How is
it.
it?
It's good. It's good. I got into a fairy smut phase because people kept telling me about Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm like, okay, I'll read that. And I blew through all 5 books of that, and then now I'm ready to get back into my nonfiction.
Is that the like ACOTAR books?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
really good. I'm not a fiction person, but I was here for it.
Okay. We have like a big ACOTAR, not big, a sort of very small community of those girls at the gym. And I sort of like, is this your dragon book, fairy book? Like, what is it about?
Yeah,
Fairies and dragons and love or something like that.
yeah, fairy smut. It's great. Highly recommend. So yeah, those are the big ones. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you too. I am very, very adamant that I don't go on my phone first thing in the morning. The days I do that, my days are not as good.
Mm. It's like phone boundaries.
Yeah. Well, and then, you ask the same question of like, what's making it hard to do? Where's the friction? A better question is, how can you make this harder to do? Because it's probably too easy to get on your phone. So, can you like plug it across the room in a different room? Like, how can you not be on it right when you get up?
And how long will you wait until you go on your phone?
30 minutes is my sweet spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you find, your relationship with your phone, with social media in the world of how powerful social media is for business, but for you as a brand and as an entrepreneur, how do you balance your relationship with your phone and being connected while also supporting healthy habits?
I honestly have not figured this out yet. I'm trying to as we speak. All my inboxes, I'm way behind on. If you've DM'd me in the last couple weeks, it's likely I've not answered you. I'm sorry about that, by the way.
I
I'm
did
just
send you
trying.
a great voice note today about your chemical peel and my experience as well and how we were going to be really vibrant together. So you have
I'll be
that
sure to
waiting for
listen to
you.
that. But no, that's been hard. I've been kind of more in a season of like post and ghost.
Mm.
I mean, I know whatever what's the saying? What you focus on expands, and where attention goes, energy flows. And I feel like I can get really like almost like too singularly focused on like engaging on Instagram or posting content or whatever. And then like all these other things start to fall by the wayside. So I'm very much trying to figure out what it means to be well balanced and not glued to my phone. But I'm not doing a great job of that yet. Hopefully it will come.
What is it that you are really focusing on right now?
I'm in building mode, baby.
Mm.
Building mode, yeah. Like actually creating things, like creating guides, offers, funnels, stuff like that. And anytime I've got raging ADHD, which you've maybe picked up on from listening to me for the last however long. But like if I get sidetracked and like go off somewhere else, like I'm gone for a couple hours. Like it takes a long time for me to be able to reel it back in. So that's another complication.
And do you find that I actually didn't know that about you?
Oh
So this
yeah.
is something new. Do you like how I don't want to say how do you control that, but do you find that like habits and structure and routine is really supportive for that?
Yes, to a point though. I think part of why I had no good habits to speak of, as I mentioned before, I mean, I had some. I'm being a little hyperbolic there. I don't like to be constrained. It goes back to being like an Enneagram 7, right? I love
Mm.
to be spontaneous. I like to go where the wind blows me and like see what the day has in store. Unfortunately, though, that also doesn't make for having a very productive day without some boundaries. So I tried to create enough boundaries so that I can thrive in that, but not so much that I stifle my creativity and I'm bored and resentful and check out.
So even as an entrepreneur, how do you okay, we've sort of chatted about your morning routine and evening
Yeah.
routine. What does the daytime look like for you? Like do you have a co-working space? Do you have your own office? Do you work at home? What does that look like? And do you time block with a productivity planner?
Yeah. Okay. One thing I've realized, well, I only work from home pretty much. A co working space could be good on some days. I think that a
Mhm.
little variety might be great. Variety is the spice of life after all. But for me, like if I have stuff I have to get done, unfortunately, I have to like clear my calendar for that day. Like I'm talking like when I get home from school drop off until lunchtime, I cannot have any meetings. There's no like 15-minute check-ins, coffee chats. No, my entire morning will be shot if I do that. So it's been getting really regimented about like blocking off certain days. Like now I'm only after I what's the word I'm looking for? Changed around my calendar availability for podcasting. I'm only doing it on Tuesday now. That way Tuesday is just dedicated to that. And then the rest of the days, it's like a content creation day if I'm in that phase. It's creating guides and going like, this is actually a horrible habit. It's just the way I'm wired. I'm a marathoner, not a sprinter. So like I might literally sit in front of the computer for 8 hours banging something out till like my eyes bleed, but that's just the way I like to work. I have to give myself space to do that, whether it's good or not.
That's interesting. I mean, that
Yeah.
feels like that could be a really smart way to structure your days and your weeks. And once you have them segmented as like podcasting day, content creation day, you can marathon through them versus using like the Pomodoro technique of like, okay, I'm going to set a 20-minute timer.
Yeah. Yeah. I realized this actually in writing the book. Some people swear by 30 minutes a day. That would never work. I tried that. No, not for me. I would rather write for 4 hours, maybe twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
or like 8 hours once a week. If I do 30 minutes a day, everything I'm writing is going to be very surface level, watered down. It takes me like 45 minutes to get in the groove and like really get into the flow. So I think a lot of this is like recognizing how does your brain work and how do you work? And then leaning into that, even if you feel like a complete weirdo, that this is the way you're wired.
That's so interesting. And even kind of going back to your process of writing the book, what did that look like? Did you write it, at your home in Arizona? Did you go on a retreat to Sedona for 2 days and have this like romanticized writing experience? Like, what did that look like?
It was me cranking it out here. And I have a really lovely home office. It's like color coded books and
I can see
pictures
that.
that
And
inspired me. And
I'm loving the color coded bookshelves, like both like your podcast that we recorded and this one now. I'm like really vibrating with the beautiful bookshelf behind you.
oh, it like, thank you for that. Yeah. It's like a vibe in here. So I have like a little altar in the corner too with like, sage, Palo Santo, I'm a little bit of a woo, not a little, I'm a woo girly for sure.
Love that.
So it's good energy in here. But yeah, I cranked it out all here. And I'm actually now hosting a writing retreat in Sedona because I will be writing another book next year. Did you not know that? Was that just complete coincidence?
I literally just said that. That's
Wow.
amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, in March. I'm like ironing out all the details of it now. But I wish I'd had that Because if you have other obligations, which you certainly do, even if you're single and no kids, you still have obligations, even if it's to your business or whatever. If you could just get out of Dodge and go somewhere really beautiful, really inspiring, and just do dedicated, deep work, that would have been really nice. So I'm making that happen now this next go around and bringing other people with me.
That's amazing. Okay, like please elaborate because this sounds exceptional.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it'll be 5 days, 4 nights, beautiful home in Sedona. I very much got this impression from you, Allie, that you're a luxury girly. You like it to be high quality, bougie.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too. That will be it. Like you're going to go and be like, I'm in like the best environment, feel so inspired, great food to fuel you, brain foods at that. Probably going to bring in a private chef 1 or 2 nights also. Going to definitely do some singing bowl stuff, breath work. So bringing in the woo. Oh, and also this is hot off the press. My book editor was like, I saw you're doing this. I want to be there and like be part of it and like help people. Right. So there'll be that. Yeah, it's just going to be amazing. Good, like sisterhood, bonding, community, and time away from your spouse, your kids, your business to write the damn book.
I love that so much. Okay, maybe we need to talk more about that offline because I really want to write a book. So
Oh,
maybe this would
okay.
be.
Let's do that.
And I have the romanticized thing in my brain. Like even what's the movie, that amazing Christmas movie where oh my god, he's in like Italy or something, like facing the water. Like it's just like it's what you see in movies and TV shows. I think it's Love Actually. I'm thinking of the movie.
I love that movie.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah, the guy from who falls in love with the Portuguese girl, but they don't speak the
Yes.
same language.
I'm
Yes.
drawing a blank on his name, but he's a great actor, and I'm
Oh, yeah, what
completely
is his
blanking on
name?
his name.
Colin something, isn't it?
Colin Firth.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, teamwork. Good job.
Yes.
So that's how I think. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere like so beautiful and peaceful, and I'm gonna write this book all by myself. I'm clearly not gonna need any support, like a copywriter or anything. I'll just dial this all out. It's gonna be wonderful. So maybe we'll need to chat more offline about that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
When did
Writing a
you
book is
know?
difficult, but it's worth it.
Okay, so two-part question. When did you know you wanted to write a book? And now when did you know that you want to write the second book? And what is that one going to be about?
Okay, I love both of these. Okay, I knew I wanted to be an author from like the time I was a little girl. Like I've just
Oh,
always been a bookworm. Um, yeah. It'd be fun to do a past life regression and find out if there's more reasons for that, but lifelong goal. And then I knew I would write a second one, like actually before I started writing the first. In fact, I went to actually you probably know Jake too, Jake Kelfer. He's in
yeah.
Chris and Lori circles. I went to his event to write this book I'll be writing next. And I start outlining, and I outlined the book I ended up writing first. So it
Oh
was like
my
a
gosh.
total switcheroo. So the next book will be a daily reader. So like a 365 or 366. We don't want February 29th to get left out either. And it'll
Yeah.
be a quote followed by a little pep talk from me. And it will be on aligned action and being present. Those are the two main themes. I got
Oh,
the title and
love.
everything, but I'm not going to share that yet.
I love
I'll
this.
tell you offline.
And when is the goal for publishing?
My editor was just asking me today. We were chatting back and forth via email, and she's like, "We should probably get you booked in if you want to have another book out next year." I'm like, "Oh yeah, huh? It's almost November." So I'm thinking probably like a fall publishing launch date. That'll give me enough time and won't feel rushed.
And will you do a book tour? And did you do a book tour for Higher Self Habits?
It was kind of a mini tour. So, okay, here's something I feel like your overachieving female listeners can appreciate. When I get the idea to do something, I'm like, I got to do it all right now.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, this summer, me and Mila, we're getting in the car and we're going to do a road trip around the country and do a book tour together while she's off school. Because my husband's always traveling and like, we would just be home kicking it anyway. So like, why not? But then I realized like, oh, actually, like that's not going to work for a number of reasons. And then I kind of got deflated, but I'm like, wait a minute, this does not need to be all at once. The book will live forever. I don't have to do all of this 6 months after it comes out. So now,
Mm.
like I talked to you on I think the episode on my show, like I want to come to Toronto in March. I know so many people in the area. It's like, that's going to be on the calendar. Boston's another city, but it did not make any sense to squeeze it all in. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but can you extend your timeline for whatever it is?
I think that's a great reminder because I sort of probably have a lot of the same energy of like, no, no, I need to do this now. Like this event has to be done now. Let's get it in the calendar. I will
Yeah.
stack my days. Some days I'm like, why? Like, why did I do that? Like,
Yeah.
I'll think in the forefront, I'm like, oh, I can totally do this. I'll be in the momentum, I'll be in the energy. But then I've stacked my days so much that there's no time for healthy habits. Like maybe I'm having I mean, I'm still quite firm on like what I put in my body, so it's not like I'm gonna go have some like fast food, but it'll be annoying. Like I could have like a better quality lunch in a busy
Yeah.
day, and checking my emails or creating great content that I am guilty of overfilling my days, and it's something I will probably forever be working on as my own personality and high achiever of wanting to try to do everything and do as much as I can in a day, but I'm trying to embrace a new era of some stillness. And it's
Mhm.
something I'm working on with my coach and trying to regulating my nervous system. I'm reading an
Yes.
amazing book right now by Robin Sharma, and he talks a lot about stillness and time for creativity, but also just like quieting your mind.
I was actually DMing with Lori just the other day because she had all these great Paris stories. And anyway, we were saying how, isn't it interesting when you go to a place like Europe or Hawaii, you realize how fast you've been moving because you go
Mm.
to a place that the pace of life is just so much slower that like you're no longer attuned to how you'd been. I mean, and it takes like 3 or 4 days to adjust. It's like, what if we just lived a bit more spaciously? This is something I'm terrible at, by the way, but I'm actively working on. Because then you just allow for so much more goodness to come in. And there's probably a lot of stuff that you're filling your days with that doesn't need to get done and isn't moving the needle anyway.
Oh, totally. And it's finding the balance of like, okay, but I'm a high achiever and I'm really proud of being that. And I'm passionate about that. But how could I also have more peace and calm and not
Mhm.
maybe talk fast or roll in hot into a physio appointment where I'm like, oh my God, I had the busiest morning, da 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 da. Like you're like a tilt-a-whirl with the energy that you are like spewing out of like what you've done in a day. I am totally like that sometimes. And so it is an interesting journey to be on of okay, how can I embrace a little bit more stillness?
But the tilt-a-whirl, that's really good. I'm going to borrow that. I'll give you
Totally, you
credit
can borrow
too.
that. Open tab in the brain, tilt a whirl
Oh.
energy.
Yeah, it's so true. How can we make room for the things that really matter and do things in their own time? Because yeah, now to your point, like with the book tour question, going back to that, it's possible there are some places that I will go when the next book is out that I never even got to go to on the first one. And
Mhm.
that's okay because the books are related. Like it didn't have to happen all at once.
Well, maybe by the time you come to Toronto for a Higher Self Habits book tour, perhaps the book will be published in another language and then maybe it'll be French and then you're going to have to
Mm.
go to Quebec. So you're going to expand on your book tour because you've allowed this longer journey plan and now your book is in more than one language.
Oh yeah, I received that. I'm really liking this vision.
I think
Yeah,
that's a great vision.
yeah.
I'm really excited for book number 2 and really just to dive in more to everything that you're creating. So you have the Sedona experience coming up. What else do you offer? Like I know you've talked a lot about coaching clients, but I want to get to obviously how people can connect with you and follow you and learn from you, but what more on what you offer and how people can get more of Alessia?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on as they call it, the ascension ladder. So, like,
Yeah.
what are ways that you can work with me that cost you little to no money, but you still get like bang for the buck and can like get going right away? So, one thing I'm actively working on, I'm revamping this quiz that I created. What is your habits spirit animal? And I'm
Ooh.
collaborating with a good friend of mine, Harley Jordan, who created this personality test. Are you a bunny, a cat, a fox, or a deer? We're taking those animals and we're applying it to how it works for habits. So there will be a quiz that you'll be able to go to probably by the time this show is live. So that'll be alessiacitro.com/quiz. And then there will be enough to get you started. And then if you want to go deeper, there'll be a guide too. Then I've got my 90-day coaching program, the Ascension Accelerator. And this is like for the people who are just like, I need to get out of my own way and I need someone to lovingly call me out and call me up, keep me accountable, show me how to do this, show me how to design behaviors, because that's always what it boils down to. It's not a you problem, it's a design problem. So that will be live definitely by the time this episode is out. And then I'm going to be doing the writers retreat and then probably a high ticket program and a big in-person event next year too. I'm just in expansion and build mode. And I feel like this message needs to get out to more people because, you know, the way that us girlies do things is a little different. And it's about time we start having fun doing it.
I love that. I mean, I feel that so deeply that we're very much in the expansion season. And I think we really got into that last year and we're still in it. Expansion, momentum, and it's a really powerful season to be in. It's exciting. It can be overwhelming at times, but I think even kind of bringing this all back to like the very first component of this conversation about habits and the hierarchy of those habits and how we have those in our life are really important building blocks to support us in these seasons.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Big time. And once you know you can build them, it's actually, I'll let you in on a little secret. It's not about the specific habit. It's about you keeping the promise to yourself because that is what actually moves the needle. That is how you get out of your own way, stay out of your own way, and become the woman you were created to be.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, before we kind of get to where everyone can find you, is there any other words of wisdom, any, passionate soapbox messages that you want to share before we give everyone their parting words of where they can follow you?
I think we covered all my soapboxes, which there's a lot of them. So we covered a lot of ground today. I think the biggest thing is like, just know that you have it all within you. It's just a matter of uncovering it.
I love that. So now where can everyone find you if they want to work with you, listen to the show?
Yeah. Okay. So the podcast is on all major podcast platforms. It's INHABIT with Alessia Citro. Get it? INHABIT.
Love it.
Maybe that's not as funny as I thought. And then on Instagram, I probably discouraged you guys from coming over there and DMing me with my inbox habits that I shared earlier, but I am most active on there. And that's at Alessia Citro, Alessia, and then 2 underscores.
Well, and they can watch the chemical peel journey.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll probably make a highlight for how interested people are. I'm just shedding an old version of myself. That's how I'm marketing this.
We're ready for like next version, new version loading, expansion season loading.
Yes. Yeah. I'm definitely getting an up level after this, or I'd better, or I'm just going to be mad that I looked like absolute hell for 4 days.
Well, and we're obviously going to link the book in the show notes, and everyone should get a copy of this because I feel like we all have the capacity to build better habits, more consistent habits, healthier habits, and how those positive habits can have a positive effect on our life and business and relationships. So I will make sure that the show notes have all the information about where you can find Alessia, listen to her show, make sure you give it a nice little love and review and a rating.
Yes.
Follow her on Instagram, grab a copy of the book. And let's stay tuned for that Toronto visit and what events you're coming to. I cannot wait.
Yeah. And we got to talk about Sedona offline too. But if any of you listening to this want to write a book and you vibed with the energy and the ADHD squirrelness of today, would love to have you in Sedona.
I mean, Sedona just looks like so magical and it's on my bucket list to visit. So I look forward to our offline conversations about that.
Thank you for having me. This was so wonderful.
Thank you for being here. I have so much love for you, and I'm so grateful that we got in the Girlfriends in Business room together and became friends. You came to the Girlfriends Walk, not once, but twice, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Inspire and Move community, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. If there is something that resonated with you today, would love for you to share it on Instagram, maybe share this episode with a friend, leave a 5-star rating and review. Again, I'm a words of affirmation girly, so a little rating and review goes a long way for your girl's heart. Thank you for being here. So much love and gratitude for you, and we will see you again soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 30 seconds and shared this on social media, send it to a friend, or leave a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I am so grateful to have you part of mine.